women over 30s, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? I am so lost. I've never been so lost in my life. I have a very clear sense of direction, but I'm lost. Anyone else can relate? Here's a bit of context for you. I haven't dated anyone for like 2 years, almost 2 years. No kissing, no hugging, no loving, no sexing, no nothing, no nothing, no nothing. I needed to do this for me. I needed to discover certain things about myself. And now that I have discovered it, I know what I want. So I'm actively looking for my tribe. My person, my forever person.
Women have been lied to and don't realize they're at their peak of negotiation power at the age of 24. Every year added lowers her options. Women these days are raised to be bosses, not wives. Many mothers are stressing independence and jobs in lieu of putting emphasis on maintaining relationships. So when their daughters turn 25 years old with a degree and a lifetime of work ahead of her, it's because she hasn't learned how to be a wife. How it was traditionally, men would step to the men of the woman's family for permission to court her. They would have a set period of time to get to know each other. There were no multiple dates, no premarital sex. The men would have to make their intentions known. This has happened for thousands of years, and it worked. Since the rise of feminism, women are now in charge of their own mate selection, but they tend to be terrible mate selectors. If you leave a woman to her own devices, she is going to pick the guy who has the money, the status, or the good looks. In other words, vanity metrics. Women have bought into this feminist notion of postponing or delaying marriage to live this Sex in the City lifestyle, then turn around and think that they can get married. Not happening.
The truth about it is, y'all, I'm hurting y'all because I want to be loved. I want marriage. You know, a lot of us get on here, we act tough and we be like, I don't want a man, I don't need a man, but I want help. I want to be loved. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody I can be vulnerable with. The problem is, and I'm not crying, y'all, because I'm sad. I'm crying, y'all, because it's like a release right now. But the problem for me, y'all, is that all the relationships that I had with men were not about love. It was about survival for me. I know how to fuck. I know how to cook. I know how to clean. I know how to seduce a man. I do not know how to love a man.
Good grief.
And then to have a son, because of those choices that I was making, y'all, and I got pregnant really, really fast. I got pregnant within 90 days of knowing my baby daddy. And we don't talk about this shit because it's embarrassing and it hurts. It fucking hurts. And I'm mad with me. I'm not mad at men. I'm not mad at my life. I'm mad at me. Because I don't know how to fix me. I don't know how to fix it. That's accountability.
The pattern tends to be that once she's had enough damage, then she picks the guy out of the friend zone and learns to love that person. It's a backwards way of going about things, if you ask me. When women talk about relationships in such pejorative terms, fear, scarcity, and lack, which leads to anxiety and stress, it means they are not dating with intention. A man cannot make a woman date him. Women choose who they deal with. If you are going into a dating situation without clear intentions or without understanding what their intentions are, is it the relationship to blame or is it you? Black women will deliberately put themselves in hardships for absolutely no reason. Black men are simply asking black women to become more competitive with their non-black counterparts. Fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, and childless. But unfortunately, city girl culture is teaching women to miscalculate their geriatric years and mismanage their prime years.
Media wasn't a thing, I would actually probably think that I'm a very unattractive person. And the reason for this is, when I was little, I didn't get much compliments, and even though my mom swears to God she never said this, she said when I was like 7, or I was probably 8, I remember her saying like, oh, she's not very pretty, but we love her. And that stuck with me for like a really long time, and I just like told myself that I was not an attractive person. And when I would go out with my girlfriends, they would get like attacked by guys and nobody would talk to me. Like I did not have like a boyfriend until I was literally out of high school. So what happened was I started to like take pictures of myself and videos of myself, and I started to post it on Facebook. And I was starting to get like strangers and random people just giving me compliments, and I was like, this is weird. But it was like people that didn't actually know me in real life, you know? And then later on in life, when I was like going to MAC Cosmetics to get like some makeup, the makeup artist people would be like, oh my God, like, let me do your makeup. Like, you're so pretty and all these things. And I was like, oh. And then older men would be like telling me that I was attractive. So I think like the moral of the story is like,
here come the
don't
waterworks.
assume that people have like an inflated ego or a way that
Here it comes.
just like nobody talks to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like literally, like no one talks to me. Like if I go out to a bar or I go to a club or I go anywhere, like nobody talks to me. So I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but like I want a friend, you know? Like all my friends moved out of state, and I get a little lonely.
Validation is the modern woman's god. In this modern era, women are more scared of losing their phones more than their virginity. Women are security-seeking creatures. Security in being able to have a huge pool of potential candidates and simps ready at the beck and call to send money and give attention. If at a moment's notice the guy she's with messes up, she'll have a surplus of security in the foreground. It used to be women would find their security in the confines of a relationship, marriage, and children. Now that security has been replaced with Instagram. But because we have eviscerated marriage and the social fabric therein, women are being told marriage is just another way to hinder you from living out your true self. The vast majority of people who live a lifelong single existence, particularly true with women, with no kids, is not a recipe for broad-scale happiness. Being fulfilled in life requires you to have a higher goal and a higher meaning. Very often that's located in family.
This is a message for men who stare at women for a bit too long on the tube. I don't fucking want you. I'm trying to clock if you're recording me or if you're going to follow me out of the station. I really don't want you. Like, I'd rather shit in my hands and clap than talk to you.
It's funny women will label guys based on who's providing information, but not the information itself. If a guy comes up to her and says you're cute, if it's an ugly guy, it's creepy. But if it's an attractive guy, it's charming. There tends to be a correlation where the more attractive the girl is, the more delusional she tends to be on how the world really works. Women literally get away with berating and antagonizing men most of the time because men can't give them any physical consequence. Unfortunately, pretty privilege is a finite resource. Nonetheless, her beauty has completely coddled her from facing harsh realities the world often has. Women aren't held accountable for poor decisions, whereas men are.
I'm going through a breakup right now, and today I felt a new layer of grief. I literally just sat in my car and cried and cried and cried and felt sick to my stomach after going through my ex's new following, which, by the way, don't recommend stalking your ex on Instagram.
Oh my God.
I do feel like breakups are tough because it's like an addiction, and when you completely go cold turkey, which I think is obviously the best thing, no contact, which we haven't had, but it's almost like I need those like little pieces.
Women think it's so easy to walk away from their men because they believe the pool of men is deeper than what it is. Most women seem to pick the guy that they like, but not the man who is compatible with them. If 80% of divorce filings are initiated by women, and girls want to be able to have a man while simultaneously putting a for sale sign around their neck, so if a better offer comes along, they can go ahead and entertain it. They're more masculine, assertive, combative, and refuse to submit. If you don't understand what men want, how do you know you bring them anything to the table?
If you are single, like on the dating apps, you know, chatting around, I would love to invite you to join in on this inside joke that me and my friend have. And it really gets us through the dark times of dating. So when someone stops answering us, like they don't answer to a message on an app, or they just like don't follow up after a date, we just assume that they're dead. So if my friend were to text me and be like, oh yeah, this guy didn't answer, I wouldn't say like, oh, don't worry, he will, or like whatever his loss. No.
Cope.
He's dead. I'll say, oh my God, I feel so bad for his friends and family. Like, gone too soon. I cannot believe that he passed away. And we will carry that out the whole time. And sometimes you find out that you thought they were dead and they were only in a coma. And then we'll talk about what a miraculous recovery they made. But usually it's like, they're dead.
This is terrible.
Just remember, there's no other reasonable explanation why they would stop answering you. Because you are great, whoever you are. So, I'm so sorry that they died.
Jeez. Pure and utter delusion. Women are allowed not to make any sense, but society will protect it. If you look at dating apps, 5% of all men get all of the swipes. According to the data, women found 88% of men as unattractive on Tinder alone. So what does that mean? The demand has been pushed up to the top 10% of men. But then a woman get upset for being part of a rotation. There's a plethora of pretty women, ladies, but only a small percentage of Chad and Tyrone. So if only a minority of men can actually engage in the hookup culture, whose fault is it really? This is why women will stay chronically single and get hurt over and over again, because feminism has told women they can have it all, but life is about choices and trade-offs.